Samuel had lived many lives in one. To the villagers, he was more than a healer and farmer, he was a keeper of traditions, a storyteller whose words carried the weight of history. He had delivered babies, cured fevers with roots and herbs, and mediated disputes beneath the wide branches of the acacia tree at the center of the settlement. Yet, for all his ties to people, the most extraordinary relationship he had ever forged was not with another human, but with a lion. Decades earlier, when Samuel was a young man with strength in his limbs and curiosity in his eyes, he had wandered into the savannah to gather medicinal plants. There he had found a tiny cub, a male lion, trapped in a crude snare left by poachers. The cub's paw was mangled and bleeding, his eyes wide with pain and terror. Every instinct in Samuel told him to walk away, lions were killers, and helping one was dangerous. Yet another instinct, stronger and more human, guided his hands as he cut the rope and freed the creature. The cub had been too weak to leave. Samuel carried him home, against the fearful protests of his neighbors. For weeks, he tended to the cub, cleaning the wound, feeding him bits of meat, singing to him in the quiet of the nights. The cub grew stronger. Samuel called him Kovu, meaning scar, because of the mark the trap left on his paw. When the cub finally returned to the wild, the villagers thought the story was over. But Kovu returned. He did not stay in the hut or fields, but he lingered at the edges, in the grasses, in the twilight shadows. He grew into a magnificent lion, his mane deep and full, his roar echoing across the land. Yet he never forgot the man who had saved him. When food was scarce, Samuel left scraps at the edge of the field. When Kovu passed near the village, he never harmed the livestock. They were bound, man and lion, by a pact stronger than fear. Over the years, stories spread. Children whispered of the healer with a lion guardian. Traders who visited claimed to have seen the beast waiting silently near the village at night. Samuel never spoke of it with pride. He always said, "I gave mercy, and mercy was returned." Time, however, is a relentless hunter. Samuel grew old. His once powerful frame shrank, his back curved, his steps slowed. The healer who had nursed so many could no longer rise without help. Illness gripped him, and though the villagers brought food and remedies, everyone knew his days were drawing to an end. It was during one of those fading evenings, when the sky was painted in shades of fire, that the earth seemed to tremble outside the village. The goats bleated nervously, and the young men tending them froze. From the golden grasses, a great figure emerged. Kovu. The lion was old too. His mane, once blazing, was streaked with gray. His body bore scars of many battles, and his gait carried the weight of age. Yet his eyes, those golden, burning eyes, remained sharp. And they were fixed, unwavering, on Samuel. The villagers gasped. Some ran for weapons, but others held them back. They had all heard the tales. Many had seen glimpses of Kovu over the years, always watchful, never threatening. And now, the lion walked with deliberate calm toward the center of the village. There, beneath the acacia tree where Samuel had once mediated disputes, a bed had been placed. The healer lay upon it, too weak to remain in his hut, surrounded by his family and neighbors who had gathered to keep vigil. His daughter Miriam sat at his side, holding his frail hand. His sons stood near, their faces heavy with grief. When Miriam noticed the villagers fall silent, she turned her head, and froze. "Father," she whispered. "It's him." Samuel stirred, his clouded eyes opening. Weak though he was, he understood. His lips moved, and the name escaped in a rasp barely louder than breath. Kovu. The lion approached the bed. The crowd instinctively drew back, some shielding children, others pressing closer in awe. The air filled with the musk of the great beast, the scrape of his claws on the dry earth. Kovu stepped forward until he loomed beside the bed. Samuel, trembling, lifted his thin, veined hand, slow as dawn. And then the impossible happened. The lion lowered his massive head until his scarred muzzle pressed into Samuel's palm. The sound that followed was not a growl but a low, resonant purr, deep enough to vibrate the ground beneath them. Tears filled Miriam's eyes. She had grown up with her father's stories, had glimpsed the lion from afar, but now she saw with her own eyes what few could ever believe, a lion bowing to a man. Samuel's face softened, lined with both pain and joy. "You came," he whispered, as if welcoming an old friend home. For a long while, man and lion simply remained there. The villagers, standing in a wide circle, felt as though they were witnessing something sacred. The beast's great amber eyes softened, his breath slow, matching the rhythm of the old man's fading chest. As night deepened, Samuel spoke quietly, almost as if to himself. He recalled the day he had found Kovu in the trap, the nights when he had shared food in the drought, the years when the lion would vanish and then reappear, always faithful, always watching. His words grew weaker, but each one seemed to draw strength from the presence beside him. Near midnight, Samuel's voice fell silent. His breath came shallow, then stopped. His hand, once resting on the lion's mane, slid gently down. Kovu remained still for a long moment. Then he tilted back his head and let out a sound that shook the hearts of all who heard it, not the triumphant roar of a king, but a deep, mournful lament, carrying across the savannah and into the star-filled sky. It was grief, raw and unhidden, echoing for miles. The villagers wept. They had lost their healer, and in that moment, they understood they had also lost something larger, the living bond between two worlds. The lion rose. He looked once more at the still figure on the bed, then turned and walked through the silent crowd. The villagers stepped aside, bowing their heads, not daring to stop him. He moved past them with solemn grace, his shadow stretching long in the moonlight. For days, the village buzzed with the story. Some claimed it was an omen, others said it was a blessing. Elders told their children that the lion had come to guide Samuel's spirit. And Miriam, when asked, would simply smile through her tears and say, "He was not just a lion. He was family." Weeks later, a shepherd boy claimed he had seen Kovu once more, standing on a ridge at sunset, his mane rippling in the golden light. The lion had stared at the horizon, then vanished into the grasses, never to be seen again. The story lived on for generations. Children grew up whispering it around fires, the tale of Samuel the healer and Kovu the lion. It became more than legend, it became a lesson. A reminder that compassion could cross the line between human and beast, and that respect, once given, could bind souls in loyalty until the very end. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next episodes.